As you can see from the title and thumbnail, we'll be talking about how to maximize your RP gains and consistently climb the ladder in Rank Season 13, which had big rank changes. Positioning has always been important, but with the changes, it is now way more important than before, and we will see why in a bit. Now these tips are in order of importance, so tip 1 is the most important, while tip 5 is the least important in my opinion. So let's start off with number 1. Time spent playing games. This is math. You can only gain so many points per hour. The more you play, the more points you can potentially get. If you want to know more details on points per hour, leave it down in the comments and I will make a separate video on that. Now, if you are already playing enough games, then we move on to tip number 2, positioning. Positioning deserves an entire video on its own, and there are so many factors to keep in mind when going for the best position, like from the moment you drop, when rings are closing, map points, high ground, champion abilities, distance from known enemies, and most of these come with experience, which ties into tip 1, your playtime. I do want to go a bit into this since I consider positioning the most important influence that you have in your game to gain RP. What you can immediately do is realize you have choices. Land where it is quiet or crowded. Fight from low ground or high ground. Go through a guarded choke or go around through the storm. Shoot at enemies that have better positioning or wait quietly until they move. Perhaps they go for a third party and your team takes their position. Fighting with a teammate nearby or running alone. In the higher ranks, teams are alive for longer because they apply all of the above and will do their best not to fight another team if things are not in their favor. If you are enjoying this video so far, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. Also, let me know in the comments if you would like me to cover another topic. Moving on to tip number 3. Cover. Use and abuse cover. Guns cannot shoot through walls in Apex, and that means every wall is cover. Use them. Fences are not walls, and bullets will go through them, but they do block vision. So if you have absolutely no cover, this can help. Railings are also 50-50 because they are so thick. Sometimes enemies will hit the railing for more than half of their shots. Doors are also a great movable cover, but watch out for rampart, rampage, or nades, which can break doors. Melee also breaks doors, but this is usually not in the favor of the person who is breaking the door. Also, when you are on height, due to tip 2, you can simply walk back and enemy won't be able to see you. The most effective usage of cover is by having it as close as possible. There should always be some cover visible on your screen that you can jump to within 1 second or less, because some weapons can burst you in 1.2 seconds. Also, try to pick positions that have a backup cover, because you can certainly expect the barrage of nades, abilities, and ultimates raining down on you, and enemies will try to look for additional angles to get you out of the game. Tip number 4. Your team. I have been soloing ranked for a while and have learned that your team is as valuable as their playstyle. If you notice one of your teammates winning fights, stick really close to them, earn assists through them, or even kills. Do not leave their sight, res them if it's safe, and support them. There should always be a team member within 5 seconds of your current position. That is equal to the time it takes to pop a battery. The reason for this is because there is always the chance that there are enemies around, and being alone is a recipe for death. this doesn't always work in your favor. Ranking solo, you can always get matched with someone playing on a fried potato, and the smell is seeping through the game, since they are always dying. Running alone, taking forever to loot, or are having a hard time understanding what they're supposed to do to maximize their RP, and you should probably send them this video as a gift. In these cases, it may be best to simply look out for yourself. Do not take risks that will lead to your death, since your team may be too heavy to carry. And now, more important than before, living is worth more. And any kills or assists they got prior to their early transformation into a death box is multiplied by the amount of teams you outlive. You are basically doing them a favor by staying alive. And communicate with your team. Tell them what is expected and try to follow them. Discuss with them where would be the best position, and you may even learn from them some cheeky new OP spots on the map. Lastly, tip number 5. Your aim. Now Apex would not be a first-person shooter without this, and practicing your aim will automatically win you more fights and earn you more points. I prefer having a lower sensitivity, where going from all the way to the left on my mousepad to all the way to the right will result in a 360 view in-game. Thus where I look somewhere, and I would look all the way around and end up back to where I originally was looking, as can be seen here. Also, firing range by yourself is not going to be enough practice when it comes to moving targets. You can use it to learn recoil control. However, if you are using the previous 4 tips, you should always have an advantage when it comes to gunfights, and should be way more likely to win, unless you get Imperial HAL in your lobby or aimbots. In the end, kills are not worth as much early game, so definitely focus first on your position and then consider if an enemy is worth killing. That is all I have for you. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing. Let me know in the comments if you learned anything or if you would like me to cover another topic. Peace.